Shut up! God damn it! I'm not yelling!
Damn, flaky!
I thought I should think.
Okay, boomer.
We're white women like 202s with no hair.
What is going on, everybody? It's X-Wing. I wanted to hop in before we started anything tonight and wish a very, very happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Star Wars nerds. They are celebrating tonight, so they're not going to be here. I just wanted to take a minute and appreciate those two lovely people. But without any further ado, we're going to bring in some other boomers and a very special boomer, somebody that we know and we love from our community that has spent a lot of time throwing wrenches at people. It's Mr. Matt Rissman. How you doing, man?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. I'm excited. I think we've got a night of good conversation coming. We're still waiting on the reason why everybody's actually tuned into the stream, Echo Base Network. So we got a little bit of time to kill.
Sweet. Let's kill it.
All right.
Yeah. So Meg, Star Wars Meg, obviously, somebody who I love and adore when it comes to Star Wars, has been putting out some pretty interesting stuff today about what's going to be going on in Bad Batch coming up here tonight. And I think I'm the most hopeful I think I've ever been for Bad Batch tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm excited, right? It's called War Mantle. So if I don't finally start getting my Empire episodes, I think I might riot. So I'm definitely excited.
Okay. Session?
Yeah, I think last week felt a little flat for most people. So I think that this week, and they have to start winding it up. So I think it's going to start being fire on fire on fire. So I think tonight's going to be pretty dope.
I think that's what's going on tonight is it's the big turn, right? So we've been waiting for something to happen, and I think tonight's the night where we're finally gonna see something occur. There was an interview with the voice actress who does Lama Su, and I think she said episode 14, which is this one, right, is going to be a big reveal. So we already have something laid in the groundwork from the show that's all right. Something's gonna happen tonight.
It's Boba Fett.
No, do you think it's Boba?
If it's Lama Su, it's Boba Fett.
So many new faces in here.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, I could see it being somebody they don't expect. So yeah, I mean, why not Boba? They talked about the Alpha earlier, about Omega. We know he's the Alpha. So I think they have to start connecting the dots here at the end because they're winding down. So they're going to start pulling strings, and it's all if things are out here, they're going to start pulling strings, and it's all going to make sense.
So you're still of the mindset that this was all connective tissue.
Everything they're doing right now is preparing us for what's coming next.
All those low episodes, all the lulls where we were all upset, it's all connective tissue.
Everything. By the end of this whole Megillah, you're gonna come back and watch the Bad Batch and go, "Damn, he was right." Because everything we've seen, the Martell sisters is going to be something important. This episode could be Boba and Bosk, and that's why we see some of their storyline in Book of Boba coming out next, right?
Did we put $1 up on your wall betting on that?
I got
all killer, no filler for the next 3 or what?
100, and I got your 100, and I got Jay's 100. They're ready, resting, and waiting for you guys. So
I will say I saw one comment go by that I'm not sold on yet, and the comment said something like "War Mantle equals Clone Uprising." I just don't see it. In order for there to be a clone uprising, there has to be an army of clones created to uprise, and there has to be a mix. If we believe what Legends and has been said previously. There has to be a mix of conscripted soldiers and loyal clones to do something about it. And it happens much later, right? So I personally feel like we may be jumping ahead a little bit in calling.
You're talking about calling for the clone uprising. It's just too much too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I agree. I agree with that. I think if they do a season 2 of Bad Batch, we'll see it there. I don't think we'll see it now. There's not enough time to get into huge battles. You have
3 episodes left.
You have 60 minutes left to tell and finish stories without leaving the crowd hanging. So, Dave's got a plan. These are some of the things that Dave has been focusing on for the better part of a year and a half. He has been, being the boss in story, but this is also animation is his thing, and he knows how to wrap it up and how to wrap it up quick. So I discard these thoughts that we're going to see Ahsoka Tano, because she's out in hiding, unless which I don't think we'll see. I think we'll see it in the live action if we see it. But I feel
like she's the most likely, Ahsoka Tano, because we already have her talking, and
she's on the run, man. At this point, she's on Rada. She's on the run. She is not to be found. She is not part of the rebellion until after the Inquisitors come after her. Spoiler alert. So,
and what do we think of Session? I just saw another one go by, reference Darth Vader. Wouldn't Darth Vader be? I think Darth Vader at this point is not out and about doing much of anything, right? I think he's. I mean, this is still shortly after.
At this point, he is on Mustafar, building his saber. At this point, he is.
Yeah, this is more like Dark Lord of the Sith EU kind of time frame where he's.
Well, I mean, this is Vader. This is Vader comics. They went through this already.
Yeah,
like they've already recanonized this portion of Star Wars. So right now, the Emperor has told him, you cannot use another Jedi's. You have saber. You have to go hunt your Kyber crystal. So go find a Jedi and kill him without a weapon, and make sure you're Sith. And prove yourself. And so he goes, I can't remember, chat, you guys might be able to help me out. I don't remember who he goes and hunts, but I remember it was an epic battle, and he won I believe it was a green Kyber crystal and a lightsaber hilt, and he took that hilt to Mustafar with some other parts that he had, and he built his saber and went through his dream state where he went back to the light side and redeemed himself to Obi-Wan, and then snapped out of it, and his Kyber crystal had cracked and started bleeding.
Right. A lot of people are saying Maul's going to be the reveal.
Maul could be the reveal, and that's the big talk right now, because the Pikes showed up, and Maul runs the Pike, and the Syndicate is a big part of what happens after the Emperor takes over. For Maul, this is kind of his prime time when it comes to the crime underworld and starting to build everything up. Right. And the Mandalorian, I mean, they could do something real twisted and really come out of left field and glass Mandalore, like prove their might while they don't have conscribe before they have to go conscribe. Because the reason that the Empire put the kibosh on the Mandalorians is because they knew the Mandalorians were the most elite fleet of fighters to overthrow.
It's the only threat they really had at the time.
Right. So to take them over with the clones still intact would be the smartest move. So right now, while they have Mandalore under siege, to start executing and purging Mandalorians, that I think we could see that coming. I think
that's a perfect tie-in for Mando, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. It puts show me how Bo-Katan lost her Darksaber. Right. That's something I need. Either you give me that in Mandalorian, or you got to give it to me at the season finale. Right. Like you have to give me that before you reintroduce her into everything, because that's the story everybody's dying to know.
Right.
Is how did Moff Gideon take that saber from her?
That's the big tie-in, right?
Again, there's so many ways that they could tie this in. I think this whole show is connective tissue. I honestly think they're going to cast the Martell sisters in live action. I know you guys hate it. She's got to have friends, man. Yeah. Outside of the order. She's got to have friends.
Okay. All right, I'm going to bring somebody else in here, another friend of the channel. You may know him as he's found, but he's actually lost. It's Justin is lost. Oh, somebody else decided to show up too.
Oh my
thank
God,
you so much for dropping by.
Okay, Boomer.
Ah, there he
Oh
is.
shit!
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I got caught up being a dad. Somebody wanted a cheeseburger. So,
and you didn't give me one?
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine.
Those are important moments in life.
Yep. Your YouTube's more important than me being hungry. Okay. Dramatic 12-year-old.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just 100 some odd people waiting on me, but we'll get your cheeseburger.
Yes.
I guess that's part of growing up, right? And that's why we're here on Boomer Council.
Good to see everybody. Justin,
dude.
This is the first time I've been on a stream with Justin is Lost and Star Wars Obsession, and I know the bald-headed wonder up there. So,
well, everybody does. He's everybody's mod and
that's right.
Discord manager, and he's everywhere, man. I'm convinced there's 3 or 4 of him. In
I
other
wish.
vehicles.
Seriously.
He has the keys to the castle of Echo Base. I'll tell you that right now.
Ooh. I'm glad I haven't given him mine then. I was feeling real special for a minute, and then I hopped over into Echo Base's Network's Discord, and he was all over there, and I'm like, I guess I'm not special then. It's just the town floozy rolling around talking to everybody else, I guess. Well, we're happy to have you here, Coach. We were already in Star Wars. We were talking about Star Wars. We were talking about how this season is going to end for the Bad Batch, how it rolls into really how it could roll into the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba. Obsession was on a really good point. Do you want to keep rolling on where you were out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many things that we can really get into. Like we were just saying, we can't get into Vader. Vader's off hunting Jedi, getting his Kyber crystal to dump into the cave in Mustafar, make his crystal bleed, go through that whole vision quest of making a crystal bleed. They show me that, dope. I'm in it, please, but I don't think that's coming. You can't see Ahsoka. Ahsoka's hiding on Rata. She's knee deep in the novel. She has no lightsaber. She's trying to erase herself. We could see another Rex sighting because he couldn't stay out. He had to get back in the war and had to free his brother. So we could see a Rex thing. I think that we could see a Boba Bosk leading into Boba Fett. Even if it's just a minute, we could see that going into that. This is pipe dream. I would love to see Bo-Katan lose the Darksaber to Moff Gideon. Show me that battle.
Mm-hmm.
Show me how that went down, because that's huge filler. That's huge stuff that we would love to know going into Mando. I don't want to see anything on Kenobi. We know where Kenobi is. Don't show me in live action. So I think that's really, I think there's very few people that we can't see. There's the trio we can't see. We can't see Kenobi, Anakin, Ahsoka. We can't see the trio.
Right. The power plays.
Yeah, I think they're completely off limits.
I think it is possible to see Maul, though, right? With the
yes, and I think Maul
in this last episode, to me, the Pikes connect best.
Yes.
Maul.
Yes.
Well, this is kind of like the last animated show that Maul hasn't hijacked, so might as well be Maul.
Well, but this is also the only series where Maul isn't dead. Also, right? Like Maul's Kenobi cut him in. So at this point, this is the only place we can see him other than a solo sequel or something of that nature, right? So really, this is the only place that they can fit him in. I would love to see them fit him in with the Pikes for just a scene. I don't need to see him have a lot of dialogue. Maybe just have the Pikes like kneel as he comes down a ramp, hand him something, and then he leaves. Like he's just got to be spotty because he's
like a real solo kind of. He's there
in
for a
hiding
minute
too, because the Emperor, he doesn't want anybody to know, because the Emperor finds out he's coming for him again, right? Like it's Vader time, baby, and he knows he's no match for Vader.
Coach,
So-
before Nick shows up and just craps all over Omega, you got any theories about Bad Batch here?
Well, so I've heard it go back and forth. At this point, I don't think it's going to end after one season. I wish that it were, but it's not. And I'm not saying that because I don't like it or anything. But the thing is that the Bad Batch to me needs to end where it kind of gets you in the feels. It needs to end on like a Rogue One type ending.
Mm-hmm.
The good guys need to lose, and it be a permanent loss. However they choose to do that, I don't care. However they choose to do that with the Empire killing them, I'm good. That's what needs to happen. So no grand theory there. That's what I'm waiting to see. It needs to be a tragic conclusion. I think it's probably reasonable to assume that the Bad Batch are going to go down saving Omega. We will get a live-action Omega one day.
You think so?
I think so. This is Dave Filoni, guys.
I know.
I don't think that'll do well, numbers-wise.
His characters are they never go away.
Yeah. Somehow they survive. So I'm kind of the train of thought, and I was talking about this on Simple Man's stream last night because I feel like it's very pertinent. We have this balance, kind of, it's Filoni. He's the understudy of Lucas, and so he's always going to write the stories, at least in the tone that we saw Lucas write the stories. Now, we have the dark, which is Crosshair, and the light, which is Omega. She's pure. She's just like Meg was saying. She's kind of like Anakin, right? Always wants to help people, always wants to be the bright. And then you have Crosshair, who's kind of like your Vader, who's kind of the reluctant bad person. He's only doing this stuff really because of his inhibitor chip. And so I think at the end of the season, we're really going to get that tie-in again, where somebody gets redeemed. But I want to see Omega die.
Yeah.
I want to see Omega die. And that's not because I hate her as a character, but I just want to see her die a glorious death. I feel like it would do so much respect to her that it's a tragedy, the child, and I know these are very adult themes, but I mean, it's a cartoon show. But if they're going to run 4 seasons of Bad Batch, we're not going to see it. I think they should end it after this season. I think Omega should die.
Yeah.
Trying to save the Bad Batch, and then the Bad Batch dies.
I think there's zero chance that we're going to see Omega die.
Of course, there's zero chance of it. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, listening to the person that was scoring the season finale, I think that they could. I mean, if it's pulling at heartstrings to the person that is composing the music to the show, and that person is brought to tears by the mere images, without, because music is largely what drives us to tears in scenes. It's not usually the dialogue or the background. It's always the music attached to it that pulls at us. And so I feel like if this person is sitting there trying to score it and they have to stop because the dialogue and the images that they're witnessing are putting them into tears, I personally think that Omega might have to die.
I got an alternate view there. That's a great take, Star Wars Obsession. I can definitely see that. Conversely to that, I think that when that was said, I kind of imagined that this is going to be the great sadness from Omega. Because she is, if we didn't get the backstory of Omega, if she wasn't tied with Jango and Boba Fett, then she would be more of an exposable character to me. But the fact that she is so important with that backstory, I think it's going to be all of the Bad Batch being killed. Hopefully we do get that Crosshair redemptive arc. He kind of established himself as an anti-hero, even in episode 1 before the chip took off.
Right.
But I would like to see him come back to normalcy. However, I think it's going to be her being overwhelmed with sadness. She is Omega. She is the end, and she's going to go off into the galaxy and be alone.
So this whole setup is just basically just character development for somebody that we're going to see later. Don't you feel like we would have seen or heard or done something with Omega somewhere, anywhere? We would have known about this person.
See, that's an issue that always comes up in Star Wars, though. I think we just have to, whenever that issue comes up, you just have to be able to suspend disbelief for a little while to fully enjoy it.
Right.
Well, and a lot of people said that about Ahsoka when she first came out, but then they tied that up in a perfect bow of her being on Malachor and her being on Mandalore, with that battle and Rex. That's why we don't get a Rex next to Anakin during that time of Revenge of the Sith. So I think, and that's what I'm saying, is that George Lucas was very good at tying up bows, right? He was very good at putting his stamp on the end of it and saying, this is the way, so to speak. And he has taught his apprentice everything he knows. And Dave was very good at that before, having done Avatar and having done these other shows. He was already very good at storytelling. But then to be able to geek out at the hand of the master that built this world that you were already geeking out about, and then to spend all this time next to George and to really iron out the way he tells stories and how he thinks so many moves ahead. That's why I'm saying I think that this is all important. Every episode, no matter how lame, even that lame ass last one we got, every single episode is critical to the next phase that's coming out in December. That's starting in December. Everything from Kenobi, Boba, Mando, Ahsoka, everything. All of this.
The Thrawn book. I'm the only Thrawn nerd. I swear to Bob, man. I'm the only friggin' Thrawn nerd around here.
Past the Ezra and Thrawn, you should be super yacked out right now.
I'm really excited about Mickelson playing
live
Thrawn.
action. So
yeah,
you got your genie in the lamp wish. Come on, man.
Yeah, we are gonna get Thrawn.
People are talking about me not saying a word in chat. It's because I don't like the Bad Batch, and I don't want to just. I don't want to talk about I don't want to be the killjoy and be like, yeah, this show sucks. I don't want to say that. So I'm just.
This is boomer because that's what we do. We're old men chewing the fat right now.
Don't care, bro.
I like that Barbara Streisand. Like, oh, her nose is too big. I mean, we're all just talking shop.
I'm with you, Justin. I'm not crazy about it. It's very C- to me.
Yeah.
And if I was 13, I'd probably love it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not made for me, first of all. And I tell this story, X-Wing, Matt, I know y'all have heard this. I went from watching Castlevania right into watching The Bad Batch. You talking about like
bad change.
That was hard to get over. I'm like, I went from watching Castlevania to this, like Rekka, like what? So anyways, I'm not
Rika,
crazy about it.
Teak, and Ika.
I think it's all gonna. I think this is gonna be another Hayden moment. I think that this show is gonna get its redemption. The more live action we see, I think the more that all of this is gonna make a little more sense. Again, I think that they're operating so many moves ahead of us that we can't even see where they are. Every time we make a move, they already knew what was coming, and they're so many steps ahead of us. So
I hope that's true, because that is a stark contrast and a big change from what we have received recently from Star Wars.
Well, right, and but isn't that the point of all of this right now, from season 7 of Clone Wars and the whole agenda leading up to next year? That's the whole point, is that two people that understand Star Wars are in charge.
It's amazing to me that it's taken them this long, though. Like, why is that a novel concept for it to be one connected universe? That's crazy. But also, the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way about the Bad Batch, I was totally in after the first episode. I was like, okay, this is awesome.
Everybody was, dude.
But the Omega thing still, in the back of my head, I was like, this kind of feels like they're copying and pasting the Mando Baby Yoda thing because they know it's a moneymaker. Like, that's what it felt like to me. I haven't even watched the last few episodes, so I don't know how it's been going. But
you didn't miss anything last week, let me tell you.
No, not much.
I'm not gonna lie. I give it a lot of love because it's Dave, and Dave's a big animator. But last episode really sucked.
The thing, you were talking about how I'm sure in that episode there was something very important for the future. Maybe not even the Bad Batch, probably for the future of Star Wars as a whole. But I always have a problem even with those filler episodes. Not so much with the Bad Batch. The filler episode's fine if there's 16 episodes in a season. But with Mando, when there's filler episodes, I know that there's important stuff in those episodes. Don't get me wrong. I just think that there could be that important thing outside of that filler episode. Put that in a different episode in a shorter scene, so that we don't have an 8-episode season with 30-minute episodes and have an episode about an entire episode about a spider that I don't like. That's what that rubs me the wrong way.
You're thinking more like a Kenobi series type where it's 6 1-hour,
like Loki. There wasn't. Yeah. I mean, there was that one bad episode in Loki, but
you also have to remember that Mandalorian was an experiment, right? That really wasn't. I mean, they didn't know that was going to catch fire the way it caught fire. Let's be honest and real. No one that no one knew this was going to catch fire the way it caught fire.
The season 1 fillers, they didn't. There was only one episode in season 1 that I didn't like. The second filler episode, the one with the jail that people were calling filler, I love that episode. Like that was one of the best episodes in the season.
I wouldn't necessarily call that episode filler either. You're talking about the Bill Burr episode?
Yeah, where they went to break them out of prison.
No, he's talking about the prison break episode.
Yeah, the Bill Burr's in that one. Yeah.
With our fishy friend, right?
Frog Lady. Debbie Young is just hanging. She's hanging on to the Meg thing. And you know what? Honestly, I was like not even really hyped to watch the episode tonight. I think I might stay up tonight just because of what Star Wars Meg said.
There's an episode tonight.
Well,
yeah, dog.
Tomorrow morning.
We're just gonna pull him out of the stream here. There we go.
What's today? No, they came out on. Oh yeah. Today's Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
I still personally think it's possible that Omega sacrifices herself to save somebody of the Bad Batch, maybe Crosshair, I don't know, and she ends up being the template for the army that does the uprising on Kamino. Because
somebody clip that and send it to Star Wars Santa, please.
Because she has said her biggest fear was to be hooked back up to machines and all this, and the whole Lama Su thing, or Nama, whoever the gal is trying to protect her. The voice actor earlier in the interview said she was conflicted and hope and other things, etc. And so I think something's going to happen there, potentially, because that's why they wanted Omega back in the first place.
I really wish I could add something to the conversation, man. I feel bad, but I haven't seen the last few episodes.
No, you're good, man. I mean, really, I wanted to talk about Bad Batch a little bit tonight because I feel like there's a little bit more hype on this episode coming up. So I did want to talk about it. One thing I did really want to talk about tonight, because I have Coach, I was really hoping Nick was going to be in here.
He's supposed to be, but this is Nick, so...
Well, he was asking for the link.
I mean, who knows?
I'm not friends with him on Twitter. He was asking for the link. Anyway, I sent it to you on Discord.
I will.
Whoa! What happened to Matt? Was that better?
Here we go. We're gonna do this. My work computer's acting
I'll
up,
get
so
him in here. Just hang on.
See
a
if I can
second.
do it.
Okay.
I tried to send it to him, Coach, via Twitter. I don't know if he got it or not.
Well, anyway, one thing I did want to talk about, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who all have completely different views on where Star Wars is right now. Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be fun to have a conversation on the state of Star Wars and the fans right now, because this could ignite some serious controversy, or it could bring us all together. And I'm super down either way. This could be an interesting conversation. Whoever's boiling over, just let it go.
I can go first. I feel like Star Wars is in probably the best place that it's been ever since the Disney purchase, for sure. Not even because of the content that's came out previously, but because of the slate of content that we have coming out soon. I think that 2022, I told this to Obsession and X-Wing, I think maybe last week. I think we might look back on the year of 2022 in 10 years and think that that's the golden age of Star Wars. Like I think that 2022.
Strong words, but I get what you're saying.
I've been saying it for months.
I mean, Kenobi and so if not the golden, like I'm not saying it's going to be better than the OT, but if not the golden age of Star Wars, then at least one of the most hyped up ages of Star Wars, because
the new golden age.
No, this is the platinum age of Star Wars. Let's
Renaissance. We'll call it the Renaissance.
Everybody has been dogging Star Wars for so long. And yes, the management has had a bunch of problems over the last 5 years, let's call it. But this is Marvel has had their day, right? They're going to come out with some awesome stuff, but really this is Marvel's great year that they're having. They put out a couple of shows, but they're having a good year. Next year, Star Wars is going to make Marvel look foolish, because next year is going to be Star Wars' year to remind people what they're capable of.
I mean, I personally agree, right? I think we're in for a suite of enjoyable content. I think Andor is going to be great. I know we don't hear a lot about Andor. Of course, I love the time period that Andor is set in. And I think we have a lot of leaks and different things out there for characters and plots and things. And I'm not sure everyone's got it just right. I think a lot of these things are doing different things together and sharing characters. And I personally think it's going to be great.
Okay, well, here's my opinion.
Oh, no.
Apologize in advance.
Oh no! Oh no!
So there's some indicators you all know that Star Wars is in a healing state. Things are going really well. From the poster selling out to Luke Skywalker being on StarWars.com again for the first time. Well, I hear you, Star Wars obsession, but let me finish my thought. I might win you over. So Luke Skywalker on StarWars.com for the first time in 10 years. The article on StarWars.com that talks about the August 25th episode of Disney Gallery, about how, they didn't just say that they're going to have a behind-the-scenes view or behind-the-scenes episode about Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker. They said that they're going to go into the immense responsibility and the pressure of bringing back one of the greatest heroes in the history of film. That's huge coming from StarWars.com. When's the last time you heard them say something like that? There's some really good indicators, but guys, the moment Star Wars Obsession's talking about how Lucas used to be able to tie the bow and tie loose ends, absolutely. The moment this loose end is tied to the sequel trilogy, all of this era of good feelings comes to a halt.
See, I disagree with that. I did, and
I knew somebody would, but
somebody.
That's my opinion.
This is the time that Star Wars gets united. Unfortunately, it's never going to be a united front.
I wouldn't say that.
It does.
I disagree with that.
Dude, okay, all right.
There's
Coach
always,
and I
hold on. No. There's always going to be haters that hate the sequels. There's going to be people that love the sequels. There's going to be people that hate the prequels. There's going to be people that love the prequels. They're going to. I don't think
give them the best of both worlds.
I don't think anybody really hates the OG trilogy, right? I prefer the original stamping without all the upgrades. That's just me personally. That's how I remember the original trilogy.
Yeah. Mark Austin would be very mad at you right now.
That's okay. No hate to anybody that was there, but for me, that's what I remember as a child, is those original scenes without the addition. So that's where I play in my head. But I feel like there's always going to be people that dislike the sequels, and the sequels are not going away. They may try to world between worlds and create different timelines and this, that, and the other.
They already have.
They're not going away.
No, I don't care if they go away.
I was saying this in, I think, last week's stream, that if they show me Luke's temple getting destroyed and having to walk through a body of younglings, a sea of youngling bodies to get to that R2 scene where he just breaks down, and if that's the moment that he decides to go to Octu and creates this whole sequel variant, I'm down for that, because I've seen that kind of pressure and I've seen that kind of person break personally, and to see Luke Skywalker go and see that, and that's what breaks him to go, I need some time to myself away from the Force. I gotta go. Yeah. I could get there and not hate it.
Yeah. I got conversely to that.
Coach, you got to let me go on this one, because I'm the young fan base now coming back, because it's right in the middle, right? It's like young, mid, and then Coach, you're I don't know, you're like went to school in like 1937 or something like that.
I'm a real fine 41.
We're the same age, man. I don't know.
But I 100% believe in my heart, 1,000% that there can be a united fan base, in spite of the sequel trilogy, which did a wonderful job of splitting us up in a way that was worse than, I believe, the prequel trilogy, 100%. Because it alienated fans of both when it happened. Now, that's my opinion, and you can turn around and tell me that's not what happened and blah, blah, blah. But I've been on the internet. I'm a sweaty. I talk to a lot of Star Wars nerds, and from what I know from the core fan base, that's what happened. And I can only report and observe on the things that I see to be true. Now, moving forward from here, I think there can absolutely be a way to unite the fan base from original trilogy, prequel trilogy, that thing that sticks out in the end is the sequel trilogy and the treatment that happened to Luke Skywalker. I highlighted this comment right here. I'm tired of everything being so OT centric. Well, that is Star Wars. That is Star Wars. That was George Lucas's vision. It's the universe that was created. It's where we learn to love all of our characters. It's everything that the prequel trilogy was based off of. And so for me, I feel like you can't just let go of the OT. We can move on from the Skywalker saga. We can create new stories. We can branch out into the universe. But if it's not based in that universe that George Lucas created, then it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And a lot of us feel that when we watch it and we see it and we say, this doesn't feel like Star Wars. We know it because we know what Star Wars feels like, because we watched it since we were kids.
No, but like I was saying, there are moments of the sequels that are important, right? There are moments that you can't just erase, in my opinion, right? Like Yoda talking to Luke in his Force Ghost form and sitting there explaining how you have to let go of your apprentices, right? That was something that Anakin struggled with. He couldn't let go. It was part of what broke him, is that he couldn't just let her go. And it's the same thing that Yoda is trying to explain to Luke. You know, we are what they grow beyond. They should go and grow, right? And there are moments in the sequel trilogies that are overly important. That it may have not been handled right, but you can't just erase something that was done, especially when we can't recreate those characters ever again. Carrie's dead. Harrison's done. Mark Hamill is like, you know.
And that's why we're hurt.
And so we can't recreate it. We also have to heal and move on.
Right.
And at this point, if Dave Filoni, who's sitting there talking to George every week about story, and if he's running these stories by George and they loop everything we're seeing now with the awesome Luke we're getting, and they loop that back around to how Luke leaves, and if that's George and Dave's story, then who am I to judge it?
Well, there's nothing wrong with judging it. That's what you do as a fan. Like, the moment they tie in the sequel trilogy, Luke Skywalker, I walk. That's just, and I go back and I celebrate the original trilogy, and I can't go back there because it hurts me too much. I can't go back there. And I'm not disagreeing. It had some great moments, and it looked visually outstanding. And I love the moment where Luke Skywalker walks in as a Force ghost. I didn't know he was a Force ghost when I first saw it, or an image, whatever, illusion, vision, whatever.
Projection.
Force projection.
Yeah, sorry. The new
they
thing
didn't have that in the games when we were playing them, by the way. Force projection. That was not a force power I ever was.
But that was a great scene. And then I felt like I was robbed of it when you find out he wasn't actually there. I would have been better with it if he had actually been there and gotten killed. But anyways, I can't revisit that. So all this momentum, all this great Star Wars that's going on, this era right after Return of the Jedi.
Hype and positivity.
I am good with, let's just stay here. Let's just stay here. And the thing about the World Between Worlds, and I am not against people that like the sequel trilogy. I'm glad you like it. I wish I did.
I didn't say
Mix
I liked
it.
I just said don't.
I'm talking to anybody, not just you, but anybody. Any Star Wars fan that has a passion and a love for it, good for them. But the World Between Worlds, I'm not calling for a decanonization of the sequel trilogy. I'm just calling for, you already established 2 alternate realities. It happened.
It's already done.
It's done.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take that a step further. And the moment, if we ever get any type of confirmation that what is happening in the Favreau-Filoni Mandoverse, I'm missing something.
So I think though, right, for the foreseeable future, we have a suite of content coming that's clearly not in the sequel's time frame. If we put aside the unknown movie about who knows what it's going to be, hopefully that'll be okay, right? The Patty Jenkins thing.
25 years, right?
But the other thing that we can rest assured of is Disney knows sequels merchandise does not sell. And when it comes right down to it, Disney wants to make money. And so I think it's very unlikely that we have any significant sequels tie-ins anytime soon because it's not going to make them money. And if that works in the favor of the folks that are really loving what's going on now and they continue that momentum, all the better. I'm with Coach. I'm actually not a sequels hater. I thought they were beautiful movies. I just didn't think they were good Star Wars.
Right.
I don't even think that they're. Honestly, I don't think they're going in the. I don't think they're going to try their best to tie into the sequels. I think they're going to try their best to do the opposite, but also leave some trails, leave some hints to try to improve them where they can. But think about how many callbacks, little hints that we've gotten to the OT and to the prequel trilogy in The Mandalorian. Like there's little like the things in the dumpster. We're like, oh, that's from the trash compactor. Like little things like that. We're not seeing anything like that from the sequels.
R6 with his blown motivator.
Right. Mm-hmm. We'll be seeing that stuff in The Mandalorian if they really want to tie it in.
And on top of that, they're changing Galaxy's Edge, to be less sequel and more OT and prequel.
As soon as that happens, I will buy a ticket and I will go down there. I have not been to Galaxy's Edge yet.
On this point, the merchandise available for sale in Batuu is very Black Spire focused. It's very Batuu focused. Yes, Kylo Ren still walks around. Yes, the First Order is there. Yes, Rey. They have character appearances which are obviously tied to the sequels because that's what the land was built for. Again, the shelves are full of mostly Grogu.
Yeah.
But I think the minute we start seeing Luke being sold in Galaxy's Edge, then we'll know which direction they're going.
Well, if you want to keep Batuu in there, then use it from EU. Anakin's been there. Thrawn's been there. This is well known in EU that they were both at Black Spire. Padme was there. I mean, we've had a lot of characters in Black Spire who were not tied to that era of Star Wars that you could totally introduce without breaking any kind of canon or anything.
I mean, it's about time for a redo anyway. Right? I mean, they redid it when the sequel started coming out.
Needs a fresh coat.
And now they're going to go back and redo it the same, whether it's Mandalorian based and we just see more of the stuff we've seen in Mando, or if they're going to completely redo everything and make it kind of like we've all been talking, where you have different areas for different planets, which would be awesome.
I think there's an entire philosophy shift, not just in the content, but also like with Galaxy's Edge. Because think about how many prequel callbacks they really get in the sequels. They had one that I can remember off the top of my head in The Last Jedi, when Luke just explains to Rey how Sidious overthrew the Jedi. Other than that, there's not any prequel callbacks in the sequels. They knew, because JJ apparently, allegedly, I don't know this for sure, but JJ apparently went in there and was like, everyone hates the prequels, let's stay away from that stuff. And now what are we getting in 2022? It's all prequel era content. Well, mostly, other than Andor. But Ahsoka, Kenobi, all prequel era stuff.
Well, but you're also got to remember that, I mean, again, everybody focuses on the movies, right? There were years and years and years and years of content for Clone Wars that was made by George. And so a lot of people don't hold weight to the animated stuff. I feel like the animated stuff gives us so much connective tissue that that should be a focus of a lot of watch hours right now, because that's the stuff that's going to tie the prequels into the sequels and then into what we're seeing now. So, I mean, that's kind of where I think it gets lost, is everybody talks about OT, prequels, sequels, when the animated stuff really gives us a large portion of, the journey as to how Anakin broke, Ahsoka's fall and exit. Like, there's a lot of
Obsession. You're making me feel anxiety right now.
Why?
I feel anxious.
I think they are going in the direction.
I just want to talk about something happy.
Can I just add one quick thing?
Yes.
One quick thing. If George Lucas is involved, what's in any way, shape, or form, as far as guiding, approving, anything to do story-wise, he hates the sequel trilogy, and he probably doesn't want to do anything that ties into those movies whatsoever.
100%.
He was super pissed that they even made those movies and went the direction that they went in. So if he has any involvement and it was all trying to tie into the sequel trilogy, I guarantee you he'd be like, F that, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with those movies at all.
100%.
And I'm okay with all the prequel callbacks that we're getting, like Justin was talking about. And I honestly, I mean, it just stands to reason that's Filoni's involvement.
Yeah,
it goes back to when he did all of that work with Lucas by his side. So I'm okay with that. I think that's good.
That's what I have been begging for, honestly. That's why I'm saying, obviously 2022 is not going to beat the OT, but that's why I was saying it's going to be. Somebody said in the chat it's going to be like the Renaissance of Star Wars, and
that was me, bro.
No, it wasn't you.
Yes, it did. I'll clip it. I'll send it.
All right.
But
I think so.
If we think about the content that's coming, right, it's very appealing to original trilogy folks and prequel trilogy folks, right? Because of the time frame that it's set in, because of the stories they're trying to connect, and for folks who like the Clone Wars or Rebels, right? It also it seems to have a nice mix of everything in there.
That is such. Yeah. I'm sorry, Matt, but Justin saying Renaissance and X-Wing saying Renaissance. Do you guys know how the Renaissance started?
Am I just?
I'm sorry, X-Wing. I didn't mean to take credit.
No. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Like y'all just blew me my mind right there.
Coach, teach.
It's a rebirth. Renaissance is
but
rebirth.
How did it start? Yeah, well, the word translates to that, but how did it start?
Which Renaissance?
Drop out.
Are we talking about art? Or are we talking about?
Doesn't matter. Renaissance is a Renaissance.
The Italian Renaissance in the early 1500s.
It came out of the Dark Ages, no? Into the Renaissance.
It came out of the Dark Ages, but it actually started with the people in Italy going into the tombs and pulling out the old artwork. Think about that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. So Filoni and Favreau are going into the tomb.
Coach was on Wikipedia like Renaissance.
OT.
Coach is a world history teacher.
Coach is a history teacher.
Are you?
Idiot.
Ow. That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, and 100%. I mean, that's absolutely what this feels like. When we look at StarWars.com and we see Luke sitting on the front of the page, it's like, it's a callback. We're calling back to the things that made this what it is. And It's that kind of respect and that involvement in what we had, respecting what we had, and creating something new that we can build off of. I think that's what's so important. And I think that's what was missing in the sequel trilogy, and that's why we love the stuff that's happening now.
What have I been telling you and Jay about Kenobi? I mean, this is exactly what
I'm still so nervous, man.
Kenobi is going to be awesome.
But
absolutely awesome.
So I have two standing bets right now. I have a bet with Jay, and I have a bet with X-Wing right now on Kenobi. Because everybody is worried about them breaking canon. Everybody's worried about what's going to happen. I've seen pictures of this, and I've seen pictures of that, and I've got sources of this, and I have more faith in Dave and John and the storytelling that they're about to embark on, that they know what they're doing.
Plus, Deborah Chow's involved. I got a lot of faith in her too.
Dude.
And don't forget, guys, Ewan is an executive producer on that show. I don't know if you watched his motorcycle series where he went all over the world and with his buddy. And everywhere he went, third world countries all over the place, they knew him as Obi-Wan.
Dude, just seeing him walk.
He loved them for it, and they love him. He's not going to allow them to ruin that character or that series. There's no way.
Well, but this is what I've been. So Jay, Jay was.
Justin's like, damn it, I was trying to say something.
Oh, go, Jay.
No.
Go.
No, I'm good, dude. Go ahead.
The standing argument. He's like, I'm out.
Wrong, but I hit the wrong button.
No.
No.
He does that to Mrs. Nerds too. He'll put her on blast. He loves to do that.
Go ahead, Obsession. Just cut me off, man.
I don't remember where I was going now. That was so much fun. You're up.
All right.
I was just saying keep getting in and out of
Come on, man. All right. Matt was talking about how everyone knew Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, but I was just going to say you can tell how much he really loves the character because whenever he walked out on stage and he was like, he told Kathleen, ask me if I'm playing Obi-Wan. And whenever he finally got to say yes, you could just see how much he loved saying yes to that question because he's been having to lie for so long about it. Yeah. You can just tell, man. He's passionate about that character.
Absolutely.
Well, and there's a reason that there was a page one rewrite. There's a reason that they stopped production on what they were trying to do and stopped and started over. And the reason that happened is because the head of story changed. And Dave walks in and says, "What are you doing? Just stop.
Rewrite.
Just time out. Everybody go to their neutral corners. Stop. And they went and made and page 1 rewrite. I believe that's when they brought in Deborah. And things started going in that direction from there. So people are, oh, this isn't going to be, it's going to be baller.
I kind of want to hear what because Nick's been mostly quiet on this one. I want to hear what his predictions for Kenobi are.
Predictions for Kenobi.
On blast.
So my predictions for Kenobi is I really don't know. I have faith in Deborah Chow because I loved what she did in the episode she directed. It was one of my favorite episodes from season 1 that she did. I can't even remember the name of it now, but I got faith in her. I got faith in John and Dave. The fact that they've been working on this for so long, putting it off, doing rewrites, all that sort of stuff. I think the sequel trilogy kind of taught them a lesson that they want to get things right. They're not going to be able to please everybody. There's going to be people that are going to absolutely hate Kenobi and trash all over it. There's going to be people that are going to be like, it was all right. And there's going to be people that are going to love it. What they're trying to do is they're probably trying to figure out a way to just make a good story and draw as many fans in as possible to get their approval for it. I'm sure it's at the back of their mind at least. So I hope they get it right. I hope they don't break continuity or canon in it. Even if you watch the prequels, a lot of the stuff that happens in the prequels, it just doesn't tie in with some of the things that were mentioned or said in the OT very well. And it's sort of like, did George not go back and rewatch his own movies before he wrote this thing in several spots? But I hope they pay attention to what's already come before it and what's been said, what's been told, and that they keep with that continuity. I personally don't want to see a rematch of Vader and Obi-Wan. Thank you. So I hope that doesn't happen. If it's in like a Force vision or Obi-Wan ends up on Dagobah and he goes into the cave and has a face off with Vader that way again or something, but that's the extent of it. I really hope they do not do another Vader Obi-Wan.
Oh, finally somebody's on my team.
Yeah.
So what? So
Thank you, Nick.
I loved the Clone Wars. Right, and there's one episode in the Clone Wars where Yoda actually has to go to another planet and has to confront his demons and deal with the wills in order to achieve immortality. I think that's something that could be, if we were going to see Kenobi leave Tatooine, it would be to do that.
I think he's already getting taught, though. He doesn't have to go through that. I think that's the initial steps for that was to be able to teach that process.
Obsession, I'm not taking you off the topic. I just want to keep talking. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's going on? He's reading a book.
I was reading what the conversation between Ben and Vader when they first saw each other on the Death Star.
Gotcha.
Do we not think there's some credibility into the rumor about young Leia and something about that whole business forcing Kenobi to do something? I'm not proposing that he goes to rescue her necessarily or that they meet, but it seems likely to me that's not a false rumor.
That is happening. Happening.
I personally would prefer him to stay on Tatooine, looking after Luke, not go off Tatooine, and get mixed up in some local stuff with gangsters, Hutts, whatever, whoever. But he's supposed to be in isolation and training and to become one with the Force, commune with Qui-Gon, and watching over Luke. So I don't know. I just would prefer that. if he goes off Tatooine, I hope there's a really good explanation on why he has to leave Luke, there on Tatooine with nobody watching over him.
And
terrible take. Terrible take.
Let's go.
I think, obviously he's there watching over Luke, but he was actually referred to as, and Darth Vader said in the original novel, he said that Obi-Wan Kenobi was the greatest Jedi ever. Okay? And if you think back to the Leia scene when Luke goes into her cell and he says, I'm here with Ben Kenobi. She says, Ben Kenobi? Where is he? I know she was on a mission to go and get him. She was on her way to go get him. Mm. She wasn't sending him the plane. She was going to get Ben Kenobi and bring him to Alderaan. It stands to reason to me that maybe he's done this before.
See, I see it a little bit different than Coach because, if you go back to Rogue One, Yoda and what's his name? Who takes Leia? I'm drawing a blank here.
Bail Organa.
Yeah, Bail Organa. Yeah. So they know of where Obi-Wan is, and then Mon Mothma was like, hey, what about your Jedi friend? So the way I look at it is he tells Leia about Obi-Wan, like, all right, I'm sending you to go get this guy. He fought with me in the Clone Wars. He can help us and save us. She only knows of Obi-Wan because of stories that was told to her by Bail Organa. That's the way I see it. I don't see anything, outside of that to make me think that Leia and Obi-Wan know each other or that they've hung out, and skipped rocks at the lake.
Hung out.
Nick's my new best friend.
Yeah,
I'm so happy somebody else is here that thinks like me.
That's it. That's going to be a big problem with the show because I think a lot of people have different perceptions and different assumed canon, like of what happened in A New Hope, like of the little conversations that Vader and Kenobi had, or just Vader talking about Kenobi. People have different perceptions. People have different assumed canon. So it's going to make some people mad.
You can't please everybody.
And the thing is, if they go another direction, I mean, I'm open to it. I just hope that there's a good explanation to where it like ties in and it doesn't just feel off. Like, hey, we just threw this in here because we thought it'd be cool, even though it doesn't really make sense. We just thought it'd be cool, to do this.
You could also look at it and say too, is he really in isolation? Yes. He changed his first name. He's on Tatooine, the home planet of Anakin Skywalker, and he's going by the name Kenobi.
Old Ben.
He wasn't hiding that much.
I mean, how many times did he really go to the Outer Rim to Tatooine aside from that? I mean, he didn't go there during Anakin and Padme went there, and the only time we see him on Tatooine is when he's handing over Luke. I don't remember an episode where they went to Jabba's palace, though Kenobi went to Jabba's palace. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so I kind of feel like I agree with Nick. I've been riding that train the whole time. I don't want Kenobi to leave. He's on a mission to protect Luke. That is his only mission. Luke is supposed to be the New Hope, and Leia was supposed to go with Bail and be separated, and that's great. But really, Kenobi's mission was to protect Luke. It wasn't to. Yes, he had training from Yoda, right? Yoda had training for him to do, and that was going to be with some Force voice, Qui-Gon, we hope. Mm-hmm. But for me, I agree with Nick. I don't want him to leave. If Leia ends up coming to Tatooine on a relief mission or for some reason and they bump into each other, cool beans. And he has to save her from a bounty hunter that's out to get a princess of Alderaan, rad. I'm all behind that. But for Kenobi to engage the Empire, Vader at this point, Vader's like a dog on a hunt for Kenobi. Every time he finds
he's
a Jedi,
looking for one person in this universe, It's Kenobi.
And every time he encounters Ezra, where the remaining Jedi can be found. When he meets up with Ahsoka, tell me where the remaining Jedi can be found. Every time he talks to the Emperor, well, maybe they have a bone on Kenobi, right? He is like a dog on a hunt for Kenobi. Yeah. And so if anybody encounters from the Empire Obi-Wan Kenobi, the great general from the Clone Wars, he's
let's go.
Done. He's done.
The more I hear you say that, the more I want to see them fight again. Let's go.
It's going to be weird too if they fight because
it's got to be a stalemate. It's got to be a stalemate.
Well, I think that it's called Kenobi, so I think he's going to win, but I think he'll win by escaping. I think he'll probably have to protect Leia, or not Luke, but he might have to protect Leia from, I don't know, because Vader can't know that Leia exists because he's surprised when he finds out that she exists. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Kenobi has to.
And on top of that, who wants to see another Obi-Wan Vader fight that's going to end in a stalemate,
bro,
or somebody escaping? Yeah. I mean, neither one of them can really win because they end up fighting each other. And then you go back to when Vader's, sensing him on the Death Star when he's in the Falcon and stuff, and he's like, it's a presence I've not felt since. So that gives you an impression of this was a long time ago.
I have been waiting for this for a long time.
It wasn't like, just like 10 years ago. Like, I mean, I remember 10 years ago almost like it was yesterday.
See, I see that moment completely different. That's a presence I've not felt since, and he's remembering a moment, not time. He's remembering
the
a
moment he got his ass kicked.
Well, it could be I mean, that's how you see it.
The moment I got my legs and arm chopped off.
What if Vader and Kenobi do meet and Vader just absolutely dominates Kenobi, but Kenobi has like some trick up his sleeve where he is able to escape to continue to protect Luke, and that's what Vader regrets in the OT whenever he's like, a presence I haven't felt since ... He's like, damn, I can't believe I let him slip away that one time. He's remembering that moment.
Plus, when they actually meet, he says, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I'm the master. He was still a learner in a Padawan to Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith. If they meet again, he's not his Padawan or his learner or the learner at that point.
That's a line that destroys everything for me. But just that line. When I left you, I was but the learner, and
I don't think that's a physical leaning. That's not a physical leaving, though.
No,
that's not the last time I saw you. I was the learner. I don't think that's what that means at all.
But at the same time, it's almost, you're a teacher, right? So like if a student comes up to you and says, the last time I saw you, I was but the learner, right? That means they were under your tutelage in that sentence. That's how I read that. And with Vader,
I read it the same way.
And Kenobi, I read that statement saying, I didn't know anything about the Force as much as I do now. I'm a master of the Force now, right? And so for me, it's that moment of like, I didn't know the Force as well as you do. You were the greatest Jedi ever, in my opinion.
Okay.
I was a learner to you, and here we are now. I'm gonna whoop that ass, right? And that's how I read it, and that's how I want to see it. I would like to see some awesome Kenobi like battling or negotiating with Sand People during the show. But I really don't want to see those live action fight in real time because it's got to end in a stalemate. And how's Vader ever left anybody in a stalemate aside from Ahsoka when she like tried to sacrifice herself?
Just food for thought. The book says, original novelization, you were once my teacher, Vader admitted, and I learned much from you, but the time of learning has long passed, and I am the master now. Just food for thought there.
Well, Obsession also, obviously they would never release this information as a confirmed fact, but I'm a rumor guy. I love reading into all the rumors, and whenever that stuff happened, whenever they had, the first script rewriting was because it was a movie or a trilogy or whatever, they rewrote it into a show. But I think when they wrote the show, it was about him staying on Tatooine and negotiating with Sand People, and even I think the villain of the show, I always forget the guy's name, but it's a Legends character, I think. And he's a Force user that disguises himself as a Tusken Raider. Isn't that someone?
Oh, yeah.
He was like the villain of the show, and I don't really like that too much. I'm not gonna lie. And they rewrote it after that because I don't think that sounds too exciting.
Yeah, that
So
sounds kind of
I have to interject really quick. Talk show. I saw what you sent me, and it's the quote. Darth Vader says, "I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master." I don't know what that changes.
For me, that just states that I left you as as still learning under your tutelage, right? That's how I read that. Not necessarily your Padawan, because he was already a Jedi on his own missions about to become the master, but he was still learning every day from Kenobi. He even, he even states when he was younger, as strong as Master Windu and as wise, he really respects Kenobi's wisdom. And so I feel like that, for me, the circle is complete, is the teacher or the student surpassing the teacher and then teaching the teacher a lesson, which is exactly what he does. Even though Ben I'm teaching you a lesson in the end, he thought he won. And in Vader's mind, he thought he won. But really, Ben's, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine. That was his ace up his sleeve. He couldn't do that in the show because it has to end in a stalemate. Kenobi can't lose anything. He forced judgments Vader's suit and then walks away with Vader still alive.
Okay. Here, Bayou just clarified. When I left you, I was but the Sith learner. Now I am the Sith master. But that still doesn't make sense because
he's still an apprentice.
Yeah, he's still. I mean, the Emperor still totally has 100% control over the guy. I mean, he's got reins over him 100%. You know what I mean?
For me, it just feels like if we see Vader Kenobi fight in real time, how does it end? Right? That's the thing, is how do you stalemate unless it's a Star Killer base, Ilum, where the chasm opens and Rey and Kylo are on opposite sides. Like, aside from that exact thing, and even then, I think Vader would grab him and try to pull him in the chasm or like force choke him or so. I don't see Vader letting anybody go.
So let me jump in here real quick. I just want to interject this. I am not saying I am 100% wanting to see Ben and Vader fight again and Ben leave. What I am saying is that if what Nick is saying happens, I'm good with that. And if they choose to go the other route, the way that I kind of wonder, I'm good with that too. I'm actually good with either way. I will say this, that this is me putting my foot in my own mouth, which I don't mind doing. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. To hell with it. So let's see. This is Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith. Klieg Lars still lives on Tatooine, I think, and Anakin's stepbrother, Owen, that's it, and his wife Beru still work the moisture farm outside Mos Eisley. And Yoda says, as close to kinfolk as the boy can come, but Tatooine not like Alderaan it is, deep in the Outer Rim, a wild and dangerous planet. And Obi-Wan said Anakin survived it, Luke can too, and I can. Well, I could take him there and watch over and protect him from the worst of the planet's dangers until he can learn to protect himself. Like a father you wish to be, young Obi-Wan? And Obi-Wan says, more an eccentric old uncle, I think. It is a part I can play very well. To keep watch over Anakin's son, Obi-Wan sighed, finally allowing his face to register a suggestion of his old gentle smile. I can't imagine a better way to spend the rest of my life.
Well, there you have it.
Well, I also think, though, just practically a show where he's only on Tatooine may not be that exciting. Could be, I guess. But also remember, with the rumor of the Inquisitors and all that stuff, something could happen. He could try and draw them away. I mean, there's got to be some interplay here that makes sense under the guises of the story. And I don't know about the whole Vader thing, right? I don't personally feel one way or the other about it. I'd like to see it in the flashback of some kind, maybe a training thing or a vision or something, right? I'm more interested in Inquisitors and some of the other backstory, candidly, than I am seeing them fight again.
See, and this is another thing. If you remember, for those of you that have seen The Last Starfighter, there is a point in that movie where the Zando Zan finds out that the Alex Rogan on Earth is actually a beta unit, and he's trying to rush back to his ship to let them know this is not the real Alex Rogan. The real Alex Rogan is still alive. He's there on a Gunstar, and so I could totally see them doing a cool play where everything stays on Tatooine, where the Inquisitors show up there and stuff. They find out Obi-Wan's there, and then they're going to inform Vader, and then they're trying to stop them from getting off Tatooine and stuff, and letting the Empire or Vader know that he's there. That could be a cool play on just sticking around on Tatooine also.
Well, and we don't know who we've never heard or read about the third sister. So the Inquisitor or brother or sister. So for me, a good way to do exactly what you're saying would be for the third sister to show up. And obviously the fifth brother has been announced, right? He's I can't remember his name. He's one of my favorite actors. He did an awesome automotive show. He's playing the brother. So it would be awesome to see just a little bit of dialogue there about the third sister going or third brother going to Tatooine, and then unfortunately getting killed by Kenobi, right? That would be a great way to give us some of that. But the only way I want to see Kenobi leave Tatooine is if the family leaves to go trade, or if like Owen says, "Hey Luke, come with me. You got to start learning how to be, the moisture farmer," and takes him off world, and Kenobi stows away or something, and maybe runs into an Inquisitor off world. Like that for me still holds everything together.
Well, Obsession, they've also, I think they're leaking or mostly confirming the actress by the last name of Verma as playing one of the sisters. I forget which one it is. So far we've got the brother guy, and now we've got at least one sister. And then we've got somebody else who was in props or whatever saying they manufactured multiple circular hilted lightsabers, right? So I think a lot of things are adding up now where they really want to do something with these Inquisitors, which bring it on. Right?
I just don't think you can bring Vader to Tatooine and he doesn't feel Kenobi and or doesn't feel maybe Luke. Right? Like we can't, those interactions can't happen on Tatooine. And for me, Vader can't sense Kenobi anywhere because he's hunting him like it's rabbit season. He's got to have him. So for me, Kenobi going off world with protecting Luke or whatever, for me would be the best way to have that interaction on Mon Cala or somewhere where they have to get something for their farm, so to speak. And then you see Kenobi throw down with a couple Inquisitors. Obviously, he has to kill them because they can't report back to the Grand Inquisitor or to Vader.
I would really be upset if Darth Vader showed up on Tatooine and felt Luke's presence, because Leia literally stood right in front of his face. Right. Yeah. And in the novel, she spit on him.
Yeah, I know.
So
doesn't that kind of ruin the whole point of everything when it comes to the Skywalker family, and basically nobody knew who anybody was?
Well, and that's part of the problem that we have about, throwing a Hail Mary and then just maybe we fix this later, maybe we don't.
Something might land.
Yeah. Like, because Lucas, he was an improvisational writer and director. He didn't know that he was even going to kill Ben Kenobi until 3 weeks before filming. And he had to create Yoda because he killed Ben Kenobi. That was never part of the plan. He had no clue about, we all know the whole Leia thing. He didn't know until after Empire that Leia was going to be a Skywalker. That whole scene of Yoda saying, "No, there is another," that had nothing to do with Leia when written. It was only to do with Leia after the fact. So really interesting stuff there. We could talk about this stuff for ages, and the answer kind of is the way that you perceive it.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. That's kind of why we're here, right?
I'm here because you sent me the link.
We can't keep having this conversation,
Well,
Coach.
there's also
I'm here because Matt sent me the link.
there's
I'm
also
here
a couple other.
I'm here because Justin is here.
Yeah.
God
I appreciate
dang it.
that. Appreciate
Like,
that.
Am I just worth
It's
nothing
about
to
time.
y'all? I mean, come on, man.
You're okay.
He
You're
gets
okay.
the credit for the Renaissance. Now it's his live stream. I mean,
There's
So-
there's a couple other rumors from Star Wars Newsnet, I think, and they're usually pretty spot on. They were saying that there's going to be a scene where possibly Vader is walking around like freely with no helmet on, like just the respirator on, or maybe like a see-through type of helmet where we can see his face. I don't know if that breaks canon. I don't know.
I don't want to see a see-through helmet. Don't give me a see-through helmet. Put me in his chamber or in a back-to tank. I don't want to see a see-through helmet. That's dumb. I don't
Does
want to
he
see.
need to have a helmet on or just the respirator? Right?
Well, it seals, doesn't it? It creates.
Yeah, it feels.
creates
That's why
an
when you
atmosphere within it.
and then
That's
it
why-
does that.
Yeah, it creates. The helmet is a part of keeping his skin. Now, if he's just walking around a sterile room, I could totally get down on that if it's like his chambers or fresh out of a back to tank or something. But
we got one person in the chat here because of me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming to my channel.
I would like to see him battle, because Anakin was kind of known for battling droids in the temple, right? The training droid that could mimic form, and he would fight the Maul battle over and over and over again. I would love to see Vader doing that with Kenobi, right? Like making the training droid be Kenobi, and we see that holographic shift where he becomes the last version of Kenobi that Vader.
Are you talking about Star Wars Force Unleashed kind of stuff where it can be whatever opponent you want?
I mean, there was no, well, yes, but there was also Anakin trained with a droid like that in the temple, and that's how he would try to fight the Maul battle over and over and over again.
Right.
And so I would be down to see Vader fighting that droid over and over and over again with Kenobi style. That would be a lot of fun.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So that repeat fight wouldn't be so much him actually seeing him or being a dream sequence. It would be a training droid on Mustafar.
Oh yeah, or the Inquisitor planet, or at the old training temple. Any of the above work for me.
Honestly, if they do that after Deborah Chow comes out and says that we're going to get the rematch of the century, that's going to.
That wasn't Deborah Chow. That was Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, okay. Well, I can send you the article where it's Deborah Chow. If you want me to?
She says it too.
Well, in the article that I showed you in Obsession, where they talk about the investors saw the trailer at the investor event, and they like described all the scenes that they saw. Deborah Chow says that they're going to have an epic rematch as well.
Yeah, but there is a video clip I've seen of Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen.
She says it at the investor
So now
event.
it's two of them. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how they're gonna work that out if they actually have actual rematch. But I just don't know if I'm gonna like that.
I think we're all missing it. I think we're all missing something. So Obsession says it all the time. They're playing 4D chess.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, they're always playing a little bit ahead. The rematch of the century may not mean, it may not even be Obi-Wan and Vader. It could be a flashback to Obi-Wan and Maul in the desert. He could be thinking about what Maul said to Kenobi when... I'm sorry. Thanks, Bayou. We don't usually have this many people in the chat, so I'm just like trying to keep up with stuff. But you know, that moment that happened in Clone Wars where Maul is laying in Obi-Wan's hand and he says, "He will avenge us." You know, that's such a closure for that moment. To see that in live action would be, maybe it's that rematch, because the Clone Wars rematch between Obi-Wan and Maul was a little, I won't call it lackluster, but it was short.
Oh my god, but it was perfect.
Are you talking about the one at the end of Rebels?
Oh,
I'm sorry, not Clone Wars. Yeah, Rebels.
Okay.
And it wasn't lackluster, but it was short.
Terrible. It was terrible.
Oh, damn. All right.
I loved it.
I thought it was
So if
amazing, dude.
But I mean, if we could take that and then relive it in a flashback with Kenobi on Tatooine and have that in live action, but it's like 50 times more impactful, you know,
I think I would like that more.
Thanks, bro.
Me too.
Than seeing a Vader Kenobi rematch.
Yeah,
and that's what I thought.
I would as well.
Yeah. So maybe that's the rematch.
I don't think there's any way they bait and switch us like that, though. Like you can't announce Hayden Christensen as Vader and then say rematch of the century right after, and then not give us.
Sure, you could.
Okay,
Can.
Yeah,
this
crazy.
happens
That's the
after
bait
this
and
show
switch.
takes place.
If that's the hot girl that shows up instead of the hot girl that I was expecting, I'm cool with that.
I'm not.
I'm cool.
So
with
what if
These were not
what
the
if-
pictures in your profile.
What if this is? What if that's the end of the season then?
Well,
You're gonna have to buy me enough drinks until your pictures match up.
okay. So what if now? What if?
100%, Mace Windu's coming back. 100%, Book of Boba, calling it right now.
What if?
100%. Coach, stick $1 on your desk behind you.
You have dollar
I'm
bills?
saying Mace Windu is coming back in Book of Boba. You put that behind there and write X-Wing on it. I swear to Bob, Mace Windu's coming back in Book of Boba.
And I'll stream topless.
Wow.
Is that's a hard bet?
No.
If Mace comes
I
back,
didn't think so.
Maybe that's the rematch. Maybe it's Mace versus Anakin. Which hey, it could be anything, man.
Maybe it's
You played with too many Stretch Armstrongs when you were a kid, because that is a stretch.
Mace against Kenobi for protecting a Skywalker.
But that
All
would
right.
be a rematch.
Yeah, that's not what.
That word rematch is what's throwing it all off. But I'm with Justin. You can't announce Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader to the Kenobi show, make a big deal out of Ewan McGregor reprising his role and Hayden, and then that's not the rematch that you're mentioning?
Yeah.
The rematch of the century? What?
What if the
How does that not hold weight though? Maul and Kenobi?
I mean, I agree it'd be a great scene, but that's not like. But you know what? Maybe that just speaks to KK's ignorance.
That's what I
was thinking
said.
the
I was
same
like,
thing.
she's only saying that because she's tone deaf.
She's just trying to hype it up and save her.
That was
but-
scripted, man.
Yeah,
She's not saying that.
Well, and the great thing about it is that I personally think that the two people in charge of the two people at the top of story, mainly Dave, isn't going to allow.
Come on, man, give John credit.
I do. I give John more credit than anybody. I think.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
no, I
bro,
give more credit than you do.
I give. So okay, here's Jon Favreau's resume. People told him you can't make a Christmas movie. He said, "Hold my beer. Let me go make Elf." He said people told him you can't make a cooking movie. He said, "Hold my beer. I'm gonna go make Chef." He said, "Oh, you can't make a good Marvel movie." He said, "Hold my beer. I'm gonna go make Iron Man." And start off the whole Marvel universe, right? The reason Jon Favreau is here is because he is excellent at what he does, and he is a boss when it comes to storytelling. So I give Jon Favreau all kinds of credit for this, but I also think that Dave Filoni is the chess player, right? He is the one that's 14 to 25 moves ahead of everybody because he is sitting at the feet of the master. Jon Favreau is an amazing producer, and he is amazing at Star Wars. I give Jon a shit ton of love because he is a boss.
I think I think Dave has all the Star Wars knowledge in the world, but
I got you, Nick.
Yeah. I didn't know you were putting me back on camera so
Gosh.
quick.
Sorry, bud.
Favreau's great at connective tissue, man. That's why I think that all of this stuff is a collaboration of him and Dave, even Bad Batch.
Did you just smoke a comic book?
Because
man. That's all I got.
because
Coach is the worst one out of all of us.
Favreau is the master of connective tissue.
yeah.
Right. And that's why I think he and Dave are building this new world. Right. They call it the Filoni verse. It should be the Filoni Favreau verse because they're creating it together.
I call it the Favreau verse. I
See,
don't call
so-
it the
so-
Filoni verse.
This leads us back to a conversation we had earlier. It's not a new universe if it leads us to the sequels.
Well, it's an extension of the current universe that we are operating in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Mandalorian gave us a new timeline that we hadn't explored. And that's the time between after Empire and the 30 years leading to the sequels, right? So there's a whole bunch of time there. We're only at year 5 or 6. So we're still in the infancy, maybe the adolescence of this timeline. So there's still a lot of time for them to give us great stories over 5 years, and we're still 20 years away from them even coming close to the timeline of the sequels. So I'm all about staying in the now and just letting them connect the dots between Boba, Mando, Ahsoka, Kenobi, and everything they're doing right now.
I'm curious. This is something Nick and I have talked about a lot, and I'm sure you guys have as well. Every person who considers themselves a real Star Wars fan, we got crap on the walls. We've lived with it for decades. Okay, every person who considers themselves a Star Wars fan, what percentage of those people do you think are either indifferent to the sequels all the way up to they love it? Let's eliminate the people who don't like it or hate it. What percentage do you think are indifferent to love it? What percentage?
I think we underestimate a lot of the time the casual viewers. So are we counting in just like the people who maybe didn't love Star Wars before the sequels came out?
I'm talking about the people who talk about Star Wars during the day at their jobs.
He's talking about sweaties.
So I would say probably not
sweaties.
I would say maybe 25%.
25%. Everybody throw out a number. What do y'all think?
So if we're talking about sweaties and the only portion of it is indifferent to loved it, I think sweaties are maybe 5%.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably say 15%.
Okay, that's see, it's tough though. Like, how long have they loved Star Wars?
I'm with you.
You know, because I know a lot of people who were really into Star Wars, but they've been fans for years.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Like some people were introduced by the sequel trilogy, so that's their Star Wars. So
and now they're huge Star Wars fans, but but it's not the same.
I had a buddy of mine that came out of The Rise of Skywalker, and before he went into it was like, "What'd you think, dude?" And I was like, "Hated it." And so he came out of it and called me and was like, "Dude, you're crazy. That movie was awesome."
Right.
He's not a Star Wars. He's not a diehard Star Wars fan. He doesn't watch the movies every year. He's seen them growing up. You know, he's just not. He's not. He likes it. You know, but he's not a diehard fan. He doesn't know anything about the lore. I mean, if I asked him about, you know, who Grand Moff Tarkin was, he'd be like, "Huh?" We had no clue what I was talking about.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Nick.
I was just saying. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that like him, but I don't think the people that do like him are just casual people. They're not going to go out there and buy the merchandise, buy the T-shirts, buy the movies on Blu-ray. You know, go see.
That's where I'm at, Nick. It's a real hard sell for me to say that the sequel trilogy had the impact when it came to merchandising, toys, and all those different things that either of the other two did.
I would like to see the numbers on that in real time when the shit came out. They're
not good.
I would like to see the numbers in real time over the course until Mandalorian debuted.
It might have been good after Force Awakens.
And see what they are.
Oh, dude, I was so in after Force Awakens. I'm like, all right, this is a rehash, but we're getting Star Wars back.
From Force Awakens,
okay, all right.
Until Mandalorian, I would like to see those numbers because they wouldn't have. I mean, now that they have new merchandise with old characters, the way that they should have done it, but they didn't. Now they're selling a lot more merch, right? And the Luke Skywalker lightsabers that are about to come out, right? Like the amount of lightsabers they're about to sell to sweaties and new fans because of Mandalorian, like that's gonna be a number that's insane. Because
dude, I mean, you think about like the.
Okay, can I finish my point as you're coughing? Can I finish my point as you're coughing?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I asked you guys about the percentages is, and I agree with y'all's numbers. Like, I'll be generous and say 20% of Star Wars fans are indifferent to loving, and in the majority, by far, do not like.
That is a generous number.
That's
then
about
you
right.
then you go to Favreau's comment, his quote, where he says, talking about the water cooler fans, the fans who were at the fountain talking Star Wars all day long. And he says, if you're not pleasing those fans, you're not doing your job. That's why I have hope. Going back to the beginning of your stream, X-Wing, you said, how do we feel about the current state? I have hope until Favreau tells me I don't need to have it anymore. Until he proves me wrong, I'm with him.
Yeah, I'm saying boat with Coach.
Bellissimo. Bueno.
Oh, you know what? I've been saying this same stuff for weeks on end, and I get shit on by you and two nerds. And all of a sudden,
you're not
all of a sudden, Coach comes in here and he's like, "Oh my God, you're so right. I'm going to listen now. Get out of here."
Well, Obsession, I think whenever you talk about it, you mention Filoni a lot of the time, and I think a lot of us have reservations about Filoni. And
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen Nick talk about it on stream before, but
he's playing a little fast and loose with comics and canon. And the word canon, I agree with that, but I also think there's a reason that he was chosen by George. There's
yeah.
Well, so was Kathleen, and we have a lot of problem with her. So.
No,
when we had Cameron Pasha,
Kathleen didn't understand Star Wars, and George and her didn't sit there and go hours on end about Star Wars in Star Wars, not merch, not dollars, not cents, actual geek out for 2 or 3 or hours on end, so long that you're like, damn, we just had lunch. Should we order dinner? Right? Like those are the conversations that George and Dave have. Those conversations were never had with
These
Kathleen.
are the conversations we have
right?
3 times a week.
And seeing John and Dave in the tent backstage during gallery geeking out about Makaki and
McClunky.
And Boba Fett Spurs and the music they're playing in the background while they're on set shooting it gives me the hope that I have. Right. And that's why I love Favreau so much, because he's coming to Dave with these crazy ideas. And Dave is literally like, bro, are you serious? He's gonna say
that was one of my favorite parts of the behind the scenes for season 1 when Favreau was talking about the Spurs for Boba Fett. And he goes, are fans going to notice it? And Filoni's like, yeah, they're going to know. And Favreau's like, are you sure? And he's like, yes,
but that's
what
I'm saying is like I give John a lot of credit because he is a legit producer, right? He is a legit come from acting and knows how things work producer. But Dave is the brain of the story. Right. And that's the only reason is because George Lucas found another one of his kind on Earth. Right.
I think Dave is a lore head, but I think that John needs a lot of credit for tying all these stories together. I don't know.
But he hasn't tied anything together yet. That's the thing. He hasn't really tied anything together yet. He built Mandalorian and created that, and applause to him building something sick that I love, that I think is needed. But let's be real, he wasn't involved in the connective tissue that was the Clone Wars, right? That really broke down. And I know you're not a big fan of the animation, but that animation,
that's Jay. That's not me. I don't really care that much.
But there's a lot there in the Clone Wars, and that was Dave Filoni, right? And Dave helped build the world that we're living in now. And that's why I give him so much credit, because he sat at the feet of the master and took his stories and created them in animation. And Dave,
I don't want to take too much of these guys' time.
And Dave honestly is teaching. John is teaching Dave how to produce live action. So there is a mentoring ship going on there as well.
And direct, man. I talk a lot of bad stuff about Dave, but I'm really a fan of Dave. And his direction in the first season, when episode 5, I did not like that at all. But dude, his Ahsoka episode was unbelievable. Unreal, man. Like that final battle was just unreal.
Even for the people who have problems with Filoni, you cannot argue that he has given us some great Star Wars.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
That ending fight with Maul and Ahsoka in Clone Wars, when they did the mocap for it, was
dude,
chef's kiss.
Some of the best animation.
Yeah. Okay, well, we hit an hour and 30. I didn't want to pull you guys in for too long. I felt bad. I hit you up in the chat. So, by the way, the chat today, by the way,
my God.
Congratulations. You've made it. You've officially made it as a YouTuber.
I'm surprised you didn't get any of that here.
Please, let's never have that happen again. Oh my god.
I have a the Force wills it in my chat, so we're never gonna get anything that they say. I can't say that. It's gonna happen. That was a little insane. I have never seen an EBN stream get polluted the way that it got polluted today.
Nope. First time.
Never happened.
Yeah. First time. It was one guy.
You think it was one person doing that the whole time?
Yeah, it was, because I've seen these people do this crap before, and they have multiple different bot accounts, and they go from one to the other, and they have other people in their stream saying, "All right, here's the link, guys. Go jump on their stream." And their whole point of it is for them to try to get them to shut the stream down.
Never end your stream
what
because
reason?
of trolls ever.
Just for laughs. Just for laughs.
Who the hell is that funny to?
The guys who have nothing better to do with their lives than sit around and smoke weed.
And how are you going to troll us? Like, we sound like we fell off a turnip truck. I mean, why are you going to?
Hey. Take a left down at the top. Get a glass of sweet tea from Mama. Get you.
We like Star Wars too.
Yeah.
I got shoes yesterday.
Yeah.
Fresh shoes for Cindy. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, look, you know what happens? I'm kind of looking forward to it. There's some troll rolling around who hit Justin, didn't they hit you? And they hit ABJ, right?
Yeah, it's hit me multiple times, yeah.
What's his name?
Not saying it. I don't want to
Come
say
on, dude, he's not watching this. He doesn't care.
Don't say it if you
I don't want to give him
say
any free clout.
Yeah.
I'll give him all the clout he wants.
Well,
I'll do a live stream with him.
You can say it. I'm not saying it because he's going to put me in the next video if I say his name.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, don't do it.
I don't commit like the memory space to their name, but I do remember what they do. Yeah. Anyway. Well, yeah, I'm sorry you guys had to deal with that, but thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. You guys are on Central or
Central?
Okay, so you're not too far. Thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been a fun stream. This is sweaties talking to each other.
Yeah.
It gets real easy when you get around people who think like we do about Star Wars, just to talk and talk
time
and
flies,
talk
dude.
and talk and talk until you can't talk anymore. It's
And
already been an hour and 36 minutes.
And it's okay if we don't all agree.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah,
no,
that's
bull.
fine.
Bull.
Yeah. me
should
and
all
Coach
think like me.
disagree.
Wait, you guys don't agree with me?
Oh, I'm usually outnumbered, girl.
I'm glad I got them out of the stream. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that they were here. No,
It's so wrong.
The nerve of them.
yes, I got it. Clip that. No, this was.
I
a lot of
enjoyed
fun,
it, guys.
though.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
us. It was
Yeah.
a great
I'm
I'm
conversation.
glad you guys are here because I'm usually outnumbered with X-wing and the two nerds. So
Hey, call us. I'll be on your
That's the
side,
thing.
even if I
Yeah.
have to lie about it.
no,
I
that's
was thinking about that today. I was thinking about it today, like before you guys came on. This is what I love so much about my channel and my streams is it's we don't ever all think the same. Obsession's gonna say differently.
Say that
but
again.
he has-
We don't ever. What?
we don't ever all think the same.
Okay.
we wouldn't all had the same opinion.
I'm a simple man.
Took it right out of my mouth. I was loading it.
We need to let
just,
Justin do the talking, please.
Yeah.
Not going to talk too
Justin,
fast. People are going to
We're all gonna leave.
I
Take
love
it
it.
away.
I love it.
I love how fast you talk.
Me too.
But
I'm
it's
like,
been fun.
good God, man.
That's
my
me talking
brain
slow
can't
motion,
keep
man.
up.
I just want to know how you breathe,
There it is.
bro.
There it
You
is.
go. I love it.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to talk any slower, to be honest with you. That's as slow as I go.
That's awesome.
You're
You
too
guys are
young to
just,
remember the Micro Machine Man. You need to look him up on YouTube.
Man, I had
The
micro
Micro Machine Man.
machines.
Or
That's
that,
you.
I'm going to look it up.
that
Okay.
McDonald's commercial where they listed the entire menu.
Oh yeah,
Right?
I remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
I used to have a micro
a
machine.
fillet of fish,
truck.
a cheeseburger, a hamburger. I remember that.
I used to have a micro machines truck. It was about this big, and on the front of it, it had a little motor that would sweep up a bunch of little micro machines trucks. So you could play with all your toys, and then you take your micro machines truck, and it would sweep up all your toys and dump it in the bed of the pickup truck. It was my favorite
wow.
toy in the world,
That
man.
thing is probably worth so much money now.
Yeah, well, it's gone.
I had a crap ton of Star Wars micro machines. The different play sets, I mean, all that crap when it first started coming out, I'd go to KB Toys and buy it.
You swallow one of those, and your parents stop buying you them.
Yeah. I clogged one toilet, and my parents wouldn't buy me anymore.
I was in high school at the time when I was buying them, so I was past the flushing them down the toilet or eating them stage.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Yeah,
especially the micro machines, the one that were like itty bitty, like those just sometimes
tastes so good. Huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're chewing your
tasty.
gum and you just hold it in your mouth while you're doing something else, and all of a sudden it's gone.
All right, you hooligans. All right,
X-Wing, real quick. What's that hologram card behind you up on that shelf?
I have a bunch, but that's the Vader one. So that's a perfect graded 10 Vader.
Hologram card?
Yeah.
Huh.
Do you want me to get it?
Well, from what card series?
I'm wearing Grogu pants. So.
Oh God!
Nobody judge me.
Prove
okay?
it. Prove it.
You
Wait,
can
you're
turn your
wearing
camera
pants?
off while you get it. You can turn your camera off while you get it. Oh jeez.
Oh my! Oh yeah, yeah. This stream is getting taken down.
Demonetized.
Couldn't hear any of that either.
Y'all made me do that.
Demonetized.
So this was 1996, 23 karat gold, Star Wars: A New Hope, limited edition out of 10,000, graded 10. I have a couple more of them.
Wow.
I think I have 8.
Is that from the Star Wars Galaxies card series?
My fiance bought these for me.
Oh, huh.
For a birthday. I think you can get the whole collection on Amazon right now.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
But it was more about the thought. It was really sweet, and these things they're going to be worth something someday, but I'm never going to sell them because it's.
Is that original Star Wars album back there?
Yes.
Does it still have the poster in it?
So the 77 does not. The 80 does.
Okay.
So I have 77 up there, and then I have 80 below, but the 80 doesn't have like the plastic on it or anything anymore, and you can see like where the record started to wear through the sleeve. So it's not in great condition, but I was on Discogs and I found it, and it was cheap.
Well, I have a Frisbee with an Imperial or Rebel signy on it. You kiss my ass because you know
yeah.
this.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to do that, but I appreciate you.
X-Wing is like every Star Wars fan's dream room, man. Every time I see his background, I'm just like, damn, I want everything.
It's a quarter.
Every time I watch an X-Wing video, I'm on Amazon immediately after, just like looking at stuff.
If you want to talk about like dream collecting, you have to talk to the dude in the orange creamsicle shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Those days are long gone.
I thought I was cool until I talked to that guy for about 5 minutes, and I'm like, I don't know.
Let me hang on.
Yeah, Retro Blasting, Michael at Retro Blasting, he's got a really nice setup.
You could always make a comeback. I just got this box of goodies.
Basistas.
And these are mint unplayed with.
Snow?
Never played with. Like the original owner.
There we go.
AT-AT driver?
Yeah, I got these from the original owner. Super stiff. Like they're case fresh. The original owner opened them up and displayed them only. So
stiff, Coach.
It's
real stiff.
It's a stiffy, all right.
Real stiff.
So, and even the big red one.
The big red one. What's the big red one?
What's that?
Red ones?
Yeah. So.
Wait, did y'all just hand that off through the Force? Like,
Yeah, it was. We have a Force dyad. You just scanned it to me. Oh, nerds!
Can your Grogu pants feel this?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
All right, shit's getting weird.
Thank you so much for having us, guys.
Yeah, no, all right. I'm closing it off. We'll do the post party in the Discord. We'll hang out and talk. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. This was a fun stream.
Yep. enjoyed hanging out with you, X-Wing. Good hanging out with you, Obsession. And Justin is lost. It's a pleasure being on stream with you as well, man. I've been waiting for this moment. Been waiting on this moment.
Yeah, we should do it again soon. All of you. I always
let's have all you guys over on EBN anytime.
Whenever, man. Let me know.
Fun, man. Yeah. So I guess that's it. That was a Boomer Council. I think it's one of the longer ones we've had. 1 hour and 45 minutes. Nice. Well,
you don't know how to close the show, do you? You don't know how to close
No, I do. No, I was looking at the. I was looking
I'm
at the
sweaty.
Cover.
He's balls. We're gone. See you.
I just he removed himself from the stream. Are you kidding me? What I was trying to do was say thank you to Coach, who is now absent, and Nick for taking time and hanging out with us. We're a small community of Star Wars nerds, but we really appreciate you guys coming, spending your time, hanging out, and everybody's going to be going nuts over this for days, man. We really enjoy this stuff. You guys are you're idols to us as Star Wars fans because you do the good. You do the God's work when it comes to Star Wars, so we just appreciate you.
In 2 weeks, big Phantom Menace meetup in Vegas.
I'm not far from there.
That's very far from me, man. I wish I could go.
Here, where are you going?
So Gary from Nerdrotic is in Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, us, Robert Meyer Burnett. We're all gonna be at the Millennial Bar and Grill on August
12th.
August 12th, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m.
Well, let's definitely chat before them because
Mark Rissman, mark it down in my calendar. I have to be there.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this when we jump off. But yeah, let's have a conversation.
That's not a long drive for me, man.
I fly in on the 11th of August, and I fly out on the 14th of August. I actually could possibly extend it and maybe fly out Sunday on the 15th, but right now my flight back is scheduled.
Watch
for the
me
14th.
be on call that weekend, man.
I think Jay's going to be there too, huh?
Jay's going to be there. Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about this in a second.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we're closing the stream out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming by. We love you. It's the Hangar Bay community, X-Wing. You know you love it. I love you guys. Have a good night. I hope tomorrow finds you. Bye.